Hi, and welcome to Life Addictions. My name is John Lausch, and I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. I'm a certified recovery specialist, and this is a show where we talk about life addictions, whether it's drugs, alcohol, food or nicotine, sex or love, even criminal addiction. We'll cover it here today. Today we have a very special guest on the show, John Burke. John, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, my name is John Burke. I am the owner and COO and Chief Marketing Officer as well of InStep Recovery Services. And what we are doing is creating an informational and referral source for people to be able to connect with other people that can help them with their challenges dealing with various addictions.
John, we also have another guest, one of your employees, Jared Epstein. Jared, introduce yourself and please tell us a little bit about what you do for the company with John.
Sure. I'm Jared Epstein, and I'm basically assisting in getting all those referrals to those different treatment centers and making sure that they're quality treatment centers and making sure that we're finding people that are appropriate for each place.
Welcome, both of you. Now, this industry is filled with a lot of businesses, recovery centers. Your business in particular is an internet search engine website?
Well, what we're doing is creating a network of treatment centers, detoxes, halfway houses, and other professionals in the recovery environment that when people that are needing a source that they can contact or work as a liaison to help them to connect with those type of people that may be the best fit for them, whether it's for their own personal needs, geography, etc.
Great. This is Life Addictions, the recovery show, and our two very special guests is John Burke, owner of InStep Recovery, and his employee, Jared Epstein. And we're going to talk a little bit about, Jared, tell us a little bit about your background, and you're a young man in recovery.
Yes.
How is that? And, today, me and John Burke are a little older, but you're 24 years old, right?
23, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what's that like today.
Well, I used to think it was going to be a terrible existence, but that's proven to not be the case at all. I'm very happy. I got sober around 19 years old, found myself hitting quite of a bottom, and needed some help. And I reached out to a psychiatrist who definitely directed me in the right direction. And since then, every day and every year, life just continually gets a little better.
Wow.
It's not so hard being young in recovery. It's actually a beautiful, happy life filled with actual, true friendships, a contentment inside that alcohol and drugs never filled.
It's amazing. Jared is 24 years old, and he actually got sober before his 21st birthday.
Yep.
So that's
I've never had a legal drink.
Wow. Amazing. A lot of addiction and the new trends in addiction are not so much alcohol, although that is one of the components, but it's a lot of prescription drugs, and we're doing more and more shows where we're finding out 8 out of 10 people today are addicted to prescription drugs.
Absolutely, it's an epidemic, and especially in the youth. I've found that one of the best ways we can be effective is not just necessarily targeting anybody, or specific people, but we're about helping as many people as we can. We're an information referral service, so people can feel comfortable coming to us, and we're going to give them the direction that we know in our experience is going to be most suitable for them, based on the different types of treatment centers and the different recovery services that are available.
Well, great. I'm sure John's glad to have you on his staff.
Thank you.
It's, the truth of it being, you've got people out there today that woke up that missed today's work. You've got a wife that turns around, looked at the bank account, and the money's gone. There's some real things happening out there as a direct result of addiction, and having guys like Jared, young people. I remember when I was in my 20s and my first approach to recovery was I didn't have, and that was one of the challenges, was how was I so young? There were so many people much older than me, and wow, is this it? How am I going to have fun in recovery? And the truth is when one of the things that recovery has given me is the freedom to choose who I want to be and what my life is like, as opposed to being a slave to addiction.
Absolutely.
John, tell us a little bit about your, what propelled you to get into this business? Because there's so many things you can do in your life. I read some of your background, and you've been involved in other things. Why the recovery business?
Well, the truth of it is that, I live my life with people telling me, you have so much potential. You have so much potential. You have so much potential. And just continuing to everything that I did right, my addiction turned around and sucked the life out of it.
Right.
And when I came into recovery, my addiction stood in the way of my education. I was once thought to go to Ivy League schools. I had a GED. I was once thought that I'd maybe run a company or be an entertainer.
Right.
However, I worked a union job, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
When I came into recovery this time, through surrendering and going through the process, it has taken me to places, given me the freedom from active addiction, but the freedom to be the man that I want to be and take my talents and allow to explore them. I literally became a leader in the college planning industry. I got to be a founder and part of a partnership that led in the physical therapy staffing industry and became a leader in that industry, not only nationally, but known worldwide.
Right.
And because of recovery, because of my life being headed out of a direction of I'm broke, my girlfriend left again. The Dear John letters, they just changed the name at the bottom. I think they just started making copies of them.
Yeah.
Instead of my life being headed in that direction, it was headed now in a different direction, that it has not been an event, it has been a process. But to participate in having a company that could help people stop, get off that road of where they're headed with so much destruction, and connect them with people that can help them get it turned around and get their life on track, that they can have holidays with their families, that they can be the person that they want to be, that they can explore careers and fly to heights that life will offer them.
Yeah.
And just to be an instrument, to be just a small component that could possibly be a help to people, just makes my heart sing.
Well, I think it's a great thing that you're doing. InStep Recovery, is it up and running?
Yes, we have opened the doors. We're in the beginning part of the process. We're putting our website together. We're making contacts with people via EAPs, doctors, attorneys, treatment centers. We've developed a network of treatment centers and detoxes and are looking to obviously expand that because we want to be able to help no matter where you're located in the United States. We'd like to be able to help anybody seeking recovery or any kind of questions possibly they might have. But we're also going to be putting footprints instead of just having offices in South Florida. We want to grow to put footprints and are already taking a step to make our first footprint in the Chicago Midwest area.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
basically, what we're doing is we're trying to establish relationships that we've already have in our personal lives with different companies, different referral services that would be attorneys, lawyers, and all those different things. And these relationships are what it's all about. When we have personally hit bottom and had the experiences that we've had, there's a camaraderie that's built and an understanding that no two addicts aren't dissimilar. We are all part of the same, and because we're cut from the same cloth, we understand each other in a way that others may not. So it allows us to have a possibility to reach out to people in a way that we can really make a difference, and that's really what we want to do. We want to be able to help the most people we possibly can, and point them in directions of people that can help them. That's why our slogan is "We help people, help people."
That's your slogan. That's good. That's good. We have a lot of great guests on, and a lot of them have come from a recovery background. They've been involved with addiction themselves. They've had family members who's died from addiction, and they really made the industry, this life, work for them, giving back, and it's important to do that. I was ironically at a conference in Miami several months ago, and we all went out to lunch. And out of the 8 people at the table, it was so ironic. I was the one and the only one that was in recovery. All the other 7 people at the table were, they didn't come from that field, which is unusual. But more and more, it's growing like that. So it's good to see that you're here, John, Jared. We're going to have another guest on. But before we leave, we want to give the viewers, if you could, give them a phone number or a website address and where they can reach you.
They can contact us at 855-201-2200. And our website is in process at www.InStepRecoveryServices.com.
Jared, you're going to leave us. We're going to have another guest on with John. And but before we leave, Jared, give us a little more about what it is. Where are you going to take this company? InStep Recovery. John Burke has hired you as the sales rep, right, and the outreach coordinator?
For the time being, yes, sir. where we're at right now, like I said, is establishing these relationships. Our ultimate goal is to branch out into all different avenues of recovery, be that detox, treatment center, halfway houses, and that's a long ways away, and we understand that. But starting off right now we're reaching out to the referral industry, referring different patients to different treatment centers and to different detoxes, and in the very near future establishing a halfway house for people to feel comfortable.
John, it sounds like you got a good young man here.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Jared, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with another guest, and John as well. Thank you. Life Addictions, the recovery program, has been under development for over 3 years. It's personal, portable, and more importantly, it works. My motivation to start this business was to help people with addictions, to literally help save lives.
We're best known for our delivery system. It's called the Recovery Pod, embedded with life-saving audio. Just open it up, turn it on, and hit play.
Along with your Recovery Pod, you get a 4-page laminated follow-along guide. What sets us apart from our competition is our message. It's uplifting, inspiring, and to the point.
My name is John Laus, the creator and developer of Life Addictions, the recovery program. Our model of recovery starts with clarity. Clarity from the minute you wake up and open your eyes. Knowledge and know-how. Know-how are the things that motivate a person to change and take action, like your health, your family, a life that works, and a life with a purpose. Life Addictions, the recovery program. Visit us at our website at lifeaddictions.com. Hi, and welcome back to Life Addictions, the recovery show, where we talk about addictions, the latest trends, and we try to bring you the latest people that are out there to help you. We have a lot of viewers, and if you have a family member, if you know somebody that needs some kind of assistance, that has some kind of addiction, maybe a drug or alcohol addiction, we have two very special guests, InStep Recovery with John Burke, CEO, and we have another guest, Mike Burke, which, Mike, please introduce yourself to our audience and tell us a little bit about what it is you do for InStep Recovery.
Well, my name is Michael Burke. I work as a client service manager for InStep Recovery Services. Being that we're a new company, the goal is really to reach out there and get in contact with as many people as possible, whether it be someone in need, a family member of someone in need, or even a referral source that can assist us in bringing more people to get assistance, to get help.
And this is a new startup company, and it's brought to you by John Burke. And, you know, as you saw in our last segment, John shared with us some of the struggles that he went through. And just recently found out that there's another story that really inspires the family to bring about this great business. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a few years ago, my sister Dawn passed away due to her alcoholism. For lack of a better term, drank herself to death.
Yeah.
And it was very sad. She had a 19-year-old daughter at the time. Built a company from the ground up. She was very successful in what she did. Wasn't addicted to anything else other than like to have an occasional drink, and that came to a point where it was something she needed every day. She did seek out treatment at one point in time. Unfortunately, she wasn't super successful with that, and probably about a few days before Christmas, about 3 years ago, we actually had to bury her. So something that touches the heart as far as the family, as well as John over here. This is my uncle. And as he mentioned, he has years of recovery as well.
Yeah.
Just kind of always being the family member, dealing with that throughout the years. There were times we went out to see him. He's always been in a band. He's always been a great musician. And as kids, we were excited to see Uncle Johnny go play the guitar. Yeah. And so one time we got excited to go to an event and showed up, and he wasn't there. So it was something that, due to his addiction at that time, he's definitely in a different place now. But that's kind of where my role comes in. more as not someone that's in recovery, but someone that's been a family member that's dealt with it from the other end of it.
InStep Recovery, you know, the passion that you see here, the background, the experience, you know, addiction has a lot of great successes. You hear about a lot of people recovering. Myself, for one, John, for another, and a lot of other people. A lot of people in this industry come from that kind of background. And this is some of the passion that drives us to do and help and reach out and try to save those other people that are in addiction. So if you're watching, please check out InStep Recovery. Is it InStepRecovery.com?
It's InStepRecoveryServices.com.
InStepRecoveryServices.com. If you have a family member, if you know somebody, anybody, drinking problem, you know, everybody's bottom is different. John, we were talked a little bit about that and your background, and your bottom was pretty, it was down there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My addiction took me to a place that I did not believe. If you would have told me that's where I would end up, myself, my family, my coworkers, my colleagues, friends would have never believed it. And I was a homeless person for about 72 hours, and I literally picked up cigarette butts off the street for cigarettes to smoke.
Yeah.
And you know what? I could have went down further and further and further. And I think the truth of it is there's these windows of opportunities that are created at times. And the addict, and speaking of my own experience, is, you know, when to get off before it's too late. You know, I know for myself, I always thought, you know, I can always go back to 12-step programs. I can always go back tomorrow. I can go back next week. And we run out of those opportunities. And regardless of, you know, I've just celebrated 12 years, and my life is in a wonderful place and has been for quite some time through the good and the bad. There was those youthful years up till 33, 34 years old that I'll never get back. You know, my son being anywhere from being born to 14 years old, there's all those ball games and all that. I don't get a second chance at that.
Right.
But I get a second chance at today. And just like in my niece's case, she had one shot at recovery, and you know what, as we carried her across the cold tundra at 30 below wind chill factor with her mother, my niece, my great niece, and the other family, it didn't have to be that way. And our message out there is we want to be in position that when someone makes that phone call, that we can possibly be an instrument of making that difference. It's kind of like, remember the old movie we grew up with at the holidays, A Christmas Carol, where the three ghosts come to Scrooge, and he has that awakening, and he, you know, leaving that next morning, he could have went about his business several different ways, but by having that awakening, he chose that he didn't want to be that way anymore. And what we want to do is to be just an instrument that maybe we can possibly help someone wake up before it's too late.
Yeah.
There's so much pain that goes on between family members, losing a family member, losing a marriage, losing a son or a daughter.
Yeah.
This stuff is real. It's not fake. You know, this is not a dress rehearsal. Life's going on right now.
Now, if you're watching, you know, you hear these stories and you see the current news with Amy Winehouse, and, you know, this bottom doesn't have to be, you know, homelessness. It doesn't have to be, you know, you could have a family member, you could know somebody that is, you know, relatively active, still working, and they can, you know, reach out and get help, because you never know when, like in Amy's case, Amy Winehouse, they say, you know, it might have been because of some kind of epileptic or, you know, seizure from the withdrawal of alcohol. So you really, you know, everybody's bottom is different, but you know, sometimes homelessness isn't a sign of that. It could be much earlier for somebody to recover and get help, and that's when you want to reach out, look at InStepRecoveryServices.com, and call them and reach out to them for some help for people that you might know. Let's get back to Mike. Mike, you come from a vast experience with very successful in your career. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to bring to InStep Recovery Services.
Well, what I did for years, for about the last 7-8 years, was work in a college industry of, I wouldn't necessarily say recruiting, But when someone had an interest in going to college, kind of changing their life academically, they'd sit down with myself and we'd find the right fit for them.
Yeah.
What I want to do is kind of take my passion for helping people and put it in a different direction. For instance, dealing with the recovery, the fact of having family members, friends in the past who were successful and unsuccessful at their recovery is my real passion. Regardless of what I do, I want to help people. That's what makes me happy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to be able to do that. And I'm changing someone's life, or having the ability to assist in changing someone's life a little more so than necessarily finding the right college program for them.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have a little bit more impact for that. As well as in the Chicagoland area where I'm from, just establishing a footprint out there and being able to bring this nationwide to help more people than just in the South Florida area. We want to be able to help all over.
Yeah. I tell you, it's a great field to be in, the recovery business, reaching out and just helping people try to save lives. I mean, it's become so prevalent now. You've got rehab shows, you've got intervention shows. You know, when somebody's in the news, we hear about it. And, you know, for one, I kind of like it because these guys out there, whether it's Amy Winehouse or Charlie Sheen or whoever it is in the news, they really, to me, represent thousands and thousands of people that aren't famous, that go through this every day, that die, that you don't hear about. You know, addiction has a lot of good news, recovery and addiction has a lot of good news, but it has a lot of terrible news that we don't hear about every day. We're located here in South Florida, but, you know, our footprint is everywhere. This show is international, so whether you're in England or wherever, you can watch it. And it's the same here as it is there as far as addiction and recovery. So you're going to be based out of Chicago?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
It's, again, being the fact of it being a website and having a network full of facilities to be able to get people the help that they need, it can really be done anywhere. The headquarters, the main office, will be down here in Coconut Creek, and then I'll have a satellite office in Chicago. And again, start reaching out there, and not just in Chicago, all over the Midwest.
Right.
And again, eventually, the goal would be then to grow to the East Coast, Southwest, West Coast, and continue to help as many people as possible with their addiction and really their recovery, for whatever the case may be.
Well, John, it sounds like you have a good starting lineup here with Jared and Mike, and I wish you much success. We're in contact, and we always have great guests on in South Florida, leaders in the field. We have former deputy drug stars on, countless number of CEOs, specialists in the field. And now all these people, how do you get your list on the website, and how do you compile your list?
Right now, what we've done is we have put together a database of all the treatment centers and detoxes nationwide. However, what we're doing, though, is we're set a standard of wanting to reach out, communicate, tour the facility, get to know them individually, so that we can establish a trust that when people are contacting us and asking us questions, yes, we can refer them to whatever nearby treatment center, but we would like to grow in our aspect of our relationships of having an intimate relationship with treatment centers, with detoxes, with various ways that they can reach out for help.
You know, a lot of our viewers are members and the leaders in the treatment field, and they might be watching the show. InStep Recovery Center, if you hear about them or if they come calling you, you know, we do a lot of conferences here with Life Addictions, and there's one coming up at the Breakers in Palm Beach in September, and that would be a great conference, I think, for you to do. A lot of people in the industry, especially from California, show up to that conference. It's actually called, I think, the FAME. It's an industry conference for recording artists, you know, those kind of folks, and it specializes in reaching out to them in the recording industry and, you know, those actors and people like Amy Winehouse and stuff. We had a guest on last week that tried to reach out to Amy Winehouse and her staff and was not successful. And who knows what the difference might have been if you know, if they would have reached her and got some kind of recovery. You never know what it takes to get somebody to, you know, finally listen. Somebody threw out that number once where it's, you know, the magic number of 20, where 20 rehabs or 20 some kind of interventions or something, some people finally come around.
in my journey where I had talked about, you asked me about the bottom of picking up cigarette butts, walking the streets. In my journey that I have found, it was told to me it wasn't guaranteed, but my life would surely have a better chance of being more prosperous, being in recovery. And from being at that bottom, it's also soared to tremendous heights. I went to healthcare staffing summits. I have met and spoke with senators. I'm very familiar with the Southern California recovery scene. Have many, many friends there, attended meetings there throughout the United States and throughout the world. And, one of the things of watching it grow and watching people, again, it's like my life was headed down a road. If you go north on 95, you're heading towards West Palm, and if you go south, you're heading towards Miami. When I was using and in my active addiction, my life was headed in a direction that was getting worse and worse. And when you put a life that's an addict in a direction of recovery, all they got to do is just stay the direction and do the footwork, and anything is possible.
Anything is possible. John, Mike, Jared, thank you for appearing on our show today. Real quick, John, if you could give us one last contact information to let our viewers know where to reach you.
Yes, we'd like you to contact us toll-free. Our toll-free number is 855-201-2200. That's 855-201-2200. And you can go to our up-and-coming website at www.InStepRecoveryServices.com. You can also feel free to contact me, Johnny, at InStepRecoveryServices.com via email.
My name is John Lausch. This is Life Addictions Recovery Show, and I want to thank you. John, good luck to you. Thank you, Mike. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We'll see you now.
Thank you.